Hi.
Hello, Dan and Deanna here for your weekly card reading.
Yeah, so today is July 12th, 2026, and I don't know if it's our autism or just our religiousness. We are very much still in the rhythm of Sunday sermons every week, and we had an inspiration to do another sermon this weekend. And the topic for our sermon that we wanted to give this weekend is healing the cult block once and for all. And the deck that Dan chose to accompany this sermon is the Lightworker Oracle by Alana Fairchild.
Yeah, I was drawn to this because I really want to speak to light workers, anyone basically who is really interested in advancing on their spiritual path. Uh, I want to speak to you because I believe that this path of unionism is for you, and that anything you may have heard around misinformation, I want to speak to that so that you can have a clearer path forward to your spiritual journey.
Also, in my opinion, one of the reasons that you chose this deck is because one of the reasons that it feels so bad for a lot of people to interact with the Church of Union right now is because not enough people are being light workers and shining enough of their light in regard to this teaching and sharing what they feel and know. And so, yeah, I think you picked a perfect deck.
Thank you.
So, Dan shuffled the deck, and the first card is Third Ray of Creative Intelligence, number 3.
And this is a perfect way to start because to shine your light as a light worker is to create. And this is something actually Deanna has been talking about a lot. And I think she's absolutely correct. Is
I won't. I'm not. I'm being so incessant about this, um, because this is what's coming up in consciousness.
you are a creative being and you have a purpose and a mission, and it comes by being you and giving your unique gift.
One thing that I think, and this is my observation, I would love for you to share your thoughts about it. I feel that students of the teaching of union are doing a little too much consuming of the teaching and not enough creation. I think it's easy to kind of get stuck in like hermit study mode but God created you so that you could create with God and with others. And one of the things that's missing is creation for the students of the teachings of union. When you take in a spiritual teaching, naturally what will happen is as you synthesize it and integrate it, you will want to create things. And that could be podcasts, videos, music videos, blogs, events, books, anything. Like,
Mhm.
and so I feel one of the missing pieces and why like we're allowing people to go around kind of going, oh, it's a cult, oh, it's a cult, cult. People wouldn't be able to even have room to say stuff like that, and they would feel stupid in labeling Church of Union as a cult if all of us students were just swimming in the flow of creation and fully connected to our creative intelligence.
Mhm. I mean, you can always tell something by its fruit, and there's so much fruit that comes from applying this teaching to your life. And so, you know, I just want to take personal responsibility to share that fruit and share that fruit with others.
Yeah, so I'm not obviously the if you have this deck, you know that the book says a lot. I'm not going to read the full thing for every card, but um, in in essence, what the book is saying about this card is the third ray of creative intelligence will help you gain practicality to organize and manifest an idea or vision in the world.
Mhm.
In the world. When this ray is active in our lives, we want to take action, bring something to life, not just to know or feel, but to do. When this oracle comes, a message about taking action, or with this oracle comes a message about taking action and believing that even the most inspired and spiritual ideas can have practical purpose in the world. Your visions and ideas can and should be worked with so they can manifest. So, this is about being down to earth, having confidence, um, and what there's so so recently Dan and I have been looking at different condos, because we've been wanting a house or a condo for years. And when we went to visit a condo recently, a real estate agent named Gabby Bernstein reached out to Dan. And what it made me think of, is that people who are spiritual teachers like Gabrielle Bernstein, um, like they might, okay, I don't, okay. What it made me think of is that people who are supposed to be spiritual leaders and spiritual teachers and making a career and full-time position out of just being a spiritual teacher, if they didn't lay their pipelines, and if they like if Gabrielle Bernstein only studied and never like went out and was a missionary and gave her gift, she wouldn't be a spiritual teacher. She would be a real estate agent. That's what God made me think of.
Interesting.
If she didn't take the time to write books, to make YouTube videos, to go out and actually live her life purpose, if she just studied A Course in Miracles, but then never did anything to make money with it, she would have to be like a real estate agent. So that's when God sent that sign, it was kind of like a wake up call. Like, if you know that you're designed to be a light worker, you absolutely can make a full time career out of it, but you have to take action. You do have to create. Um, yeah,
Amen.
yeah. The next card is number 4,
Oh,
paradigm shift.
perfect. 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 That speaks perfectly to what the Church of Union brings to the planet. It's honestly, it is a paradigm shift. It shifts everything because the world we have, I think we can agree this is not our ideal world. And Church of Union does have that vision, which is God's vision for a perfect world. And there is there's a lot of aspects of it that make it a paradigm shift. A lot of it is the understanding that it's transformation happens from the inside out. So it shows you a way to cultivate deep and lasting happiness within. And that's not necessarily a new concept, but they just have a very special way of showing that. And cultivating that deep joy, that deep peace, and sharing that, starting from that inner place and going outwards from there is actually the most powerful way to manifest your heaven on earth, which is essentially that is the paradigm shift, is to create heaven on earth.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what's going on right now is a mass spiritual awakening, and it didn't just start now this year. Anyone who knows about spirituality knows it's been going on for a very long time. But we can't have too many light workers. Like, we can't have too many ascension coaches. We can't have too many map practitioners. We can't have too many podcasts and YouTube videos and blog posts about twin flames and unionism and religion and spirituality. We can't have too much, because this is the awakening.
Mhm.
And like, we can't have too much new energy. Like, there's no such thing. And even sharing a tiny little bit of your spiritual wisdom could create a paradigm shift in someone's life or in the company you're working for. You could transform and create a paradigm shift in the company you're working for by sharing just a little bit of your Christ light. In the book about this card, it says Buddhists sometimes speak of the beginner's mind, that which assumes nothing and therefore is open to everything. A spiritual psychologist might call this the inner child, as it is innocent, curious, unfixed, and always learning. It doesn't get stuck on an answer having to be one way. There is openness to the unknown with curiosity instead. So, what this is bringing up for me is kind of like um, returning to a place of innocence. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like that. It's like that song "Return to Innocence" by Enigma. So I recently, like 1 or 2 years ago, I found a old flash drive. Or no, sorry, it was an old multimedia DVD. I don't remember. It was some sort of media thing. Sorry. But it was videos I had made with friends from school. I think it was middle school. And when I watched these videos that me and my classmates from middle school made, I was like ruffling. I was rolling on the floor laughing. I was crying because it was so funny. And we did such a good job. And we were just middle schoolers, but we were innocent. And that's the thing is when you're connected to your innocence and you interact with someone else and they're connected to their innocence, then together you can create and partner and create amazing things for consciousness, including sharing the teachings of union. But it's just all about remembering your innocence and the innocence of others, and being as a child.
And when you're innocent, you're open to positive guidance. So part of what this card's pointing to is this is part of the reason why we've had this situation of like all of this, oh, it's a cult thing because, and this is something Jeff and Jay talk about. You can see throughout history, society is always initially resistant to big changes, big paradigm shifts. We can see that in Christianity, other ways. Basically, a paradigm shift, you do have to open yourself in a bigger way. You have to recognize I desire a big change in my life. So something I need to make a big change and be open to radical transformation in your reality. Some people are triggered or alarmed by radical change. That's okay. They say that's important to be ready for the journey. Be ready for a paradigm shift. If you are somebody who desires to have your life transformed in a huge, positive, amazing way, then this is absolutely for you.
And what you just said reminded me of a quote that I love, which is by Arthur Schopenhauer. And it's all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed.
Mm,
Third, is it is accepted as being self evident.
correct.
And so, yeah, we're going to explore this more in the sermon.
Mhm.
But um, the backlash, part of the backlash, um, is just coming from the fact that these teachings provide a paradigm shift.
Mhm.
It's just, if you study history, people kind of like this is just kind of like human behavior as people adjust to new information.
Correct.
The third and final card for the card reading for Sunday service this week is
Oh.
number 16, Dark. Ow!
Okay.
Ow! Number 16, Dark Night of the Soul. And this speaks perfectly to, oh my gosh.
Perfectly. Exactly.
This speaks perfectly to what I was literally just writing down for this sermon, which is one of my opinions and philosophies on why people start screaming cult, cult, cult is because they hit a dark night of the soul and they don't know what to do.
Mhm. Yeah. This work, so we're talking about inner transformation first and foremost, and that means going to some really potentially raw, hurt, wounded places inside of you. Of course, the whole point is if you follow Church of Union and their teaching, they give you a safe and scientific and healing way through it. But you really do have to apply the methods because they do, and Jeff and Julia will say this in a video, that's why it's not for everybody yet, because you do have to be ready to go
Um,
through dark night of the soul.
my caveat is it is for everybody.
Well, it's a choice. Are you willing to go through a
The
dark night of
more
the soul?
people, the more people that shine their light, the easier it's going to get for everyone
It gets
else.
easier,
Because,
exactly.
the next generation, 100 years from now, it's not, the twin flame journey is not going to be this like
No, the
thing.
pioneers
It's not even going to be a thing.
always have the most challenge. Then it gets easier and easier from there. Absolutely.
In the book, it says you are ready for a more real and radiant relationship with the divine. Your
Mm.
preconceived ideas and safe limiting beliefs may be sacrificed in order for this to happen. So, what I want to really point out is that you cannot control how God wants to shape you on your spiritual awakening journey. And instead of saying cult, 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 antichrist, 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 which is very tempting, very easy to do, very satisfying for like these deep corners of consciousness, it feels like, yeah, I figured this out and I have something to go off with and live my life now. But what you want to do instead of saying cult, 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 antichrist, 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 is recognize that what God is actually trying to do when you hit those moments, when you want to start calling it a cult, is God's trying to shape you and sharpen you in some way and awaken you in some way, and you're resisting it, and you feel dissonant from the current energy of the community, or you feel like you're a little too independent, or you feel like you're going somewhere where the community can't go with you, but they can if you don't um, turn it into something worse than it is, which is another layer of your awakening trying to happen. Just let that awakening happen, but don't call it a cult and don't say
Well, the way you can
antichrist.
really tell is by, you can always, and this is a biblical phrase, you can tell by the fruit. You can always tell something by its fruit. So, yes, on the spiritual path, you go through a dark night of soul, a huge challenge. But the way you know whether something's worth it is on the other side of that, what you see time and time again, those who chose to move all the way through it have amazing, miraculous breakthroughs. They have their harmonious union. They are living their life purpose. They're increasing in their wealth, their happiness, their joy, their sense of purpose and relationships. So those fruits mean something very good is happening. And that's why you would even go through something like a dark night of the soul, because really you're just cleaning out what doesn't serve you to expand into a much higher reality. So it's worth it. It's truly worth it to let all of that go.
Have an open mind because your awakening is going to be unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And you can choose, Jeff and Celia say, you can choose, like, I choose for it to be easy and gentle. You can choose how you want your journey to be, so that even when you do hit those rough spots, God will, make sure to honor your choice and fill you with support, fill you with ease, so that you can move through those and enjoy every step of the journey. Because it really is meant to be enjoyed every step of the way.
but you don't have to turn your dark night of the soul into calling Church of Union a cult, and you don't have to turn your dark night of the soul and spiritual awakening into thinking Jeff and Shirley are the Antichrist. Um, it's tempting, and when you're like
And the reason why she says
you're
tempting, it's like, because, oh, they made me go to these difficult places within myself, which no one can make you, but they invite you.
okay. My take on it and what I meant is that like because we're in the time of like Armageddon, like the prophesized second coming, and I do believe um, there will be like an antichrist figure. Um, it's tempting for the mind to go there and try to figure that out and label Church of Union that. But as we'll continue to talk about in our sermon, there's um, it's just part of spiritual warfare.
Well, basically, you're saying there's no basis to it, and that's the important thing to see: is there a basis to a claim or not?
All right. Yeah,
Perfect. I think that
I
concludes
think
our
that's good.
reading.
Okay.
Yes, we will see you. We were doing a sermon very soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.